This is Carter Hart, and you're playing goalie in Philly, and Bernie Parent and Ron Hextall. And am I the only one that feels like that was a bit harsh, Weeksy?
Yeah. Yeah. That was tangy.
Real.
Yeah, it was tangy. It was spicy and tart.
He's 22.
Well, look, here's, Carter Hart, and I've been saying it here on the show for years, and Carter Hart was amazing in the WHL in Everett, and he was goodish in the minors, and once he got to Philly, he was awesome.
Yes.
But they were playing much better in front of him. And I think Carter Hart, knowing him, he'd be the first one to say that he's not up to his level right now, and there's some goals that he can have. But quite frankly, you could have Carter Hart, you can have the great Bernie Parent, you can have the great Jacques Plante, you can have the great Dominic Hasek, Grant Fuhr, the great Patrick Waugh, all in the net. And the way the Flyers are going right now, it wouldn't really matter as such. Would you maybe have one more win, two, maybe lots? Maybe.
You're right.
But all things being equal, for as porous as they've been defensively as a club and as a group, I mean, here's the reality. Carter Hart knows he needs to be better, but there's not one person that I've spoken to in the hockey world, including in Philadelphia, that ever said anything other than his impeccable work habits, his commitment to the game, his commitment to his craft, and which is a big part of why he's had so much success to this point, beyond his years and beyond the age on his birth certificate, which is a testament to his approach. Now, all of a sudden I hear this, and it calls into question now those very traits that are strengths of Carter Hart's.
Right.
So it's one thing to say you'd like to see him perform better, but I think overall from a head coach standpoint, if you're AV, hey, listen, we need our team to defend. Our other people on this roster are getting paid on the 1st and 15th, too. Mm-hmm. This isn't Carter Hart's the only one that's getting a paycheck.
Yeah, no, I didn't like the way it came out, I'll be honest with you.
I didn't like it at all.
I've done this with a player before, and we had Steven Stamkos his first year, who, excuse my phone there.
That's him. That could be Stammer.
That might be
Stammer time.
He hates when I tell this story because he got sent out as a healthy scratch, which is incredible. But we did it with delicate care.
Exactly.
We actually did it in Anaheim because that was around the time when maybe we thought it was needed, but also because it was one of the furthest places on the planet from Toronto.
Exactly.
And we knew that this psychologically could affect him, and there was nothing wrong with him. That's right. And Rick Tocchet handled that beautifully with Stammer. Sat down with him, told him what was expected of him, what was happening. But there wasn't really any big public notification on it. Some things are... Carter Hart, he needs a break. He needs to catch his breath. That's essentially what we were doing with Stammer at that point. Mm-hmm. He went on, just for the record, after that, and essentially scored like 22 goals in the second half of the season.
Right. It's awesome.
He just needed it. He just needed to catch his breath. Maybe Carter Hart needs it. Just say that.
Yeah.
Just say that. Maybe the team needs to play better, too.
Yeah.
Say that. It's not just one. It feels so individualized. It's a rough look.
It's a tough look because it hangs Carter Hart out to dry, right?
Yeah, it seems
and you
like
know that, and you know that Philadelphia, as passionate as their fans are, as much as I enjoyed playing there as a visiting player, and as many friends that I have and do play there now, to me to go down this road, it calls into question things about him, and it opens up needless questioning from an already on your edge of your seat fan base.
Just give him a break.
So, right? So
you can do that.
Of course.
It's a shortened season. You could take a goalie out and just say, hey,
we're going to give him a reset.
Alex Lyon's going to back up.
Exactly.
You're out. Get to work. Keep going.
Yeah.
That's all you had to happen.
Totally.
Now it's like, well, the season's on him.
Well, yeah, it's damaging, and it's also unfair.
Yeah,
and this is these are the kind of things that get me hot, because in today's NHL, this isn't NHL 05, 2010, 2015. It's contemporary, up-to-the-minute NHL, and we talk about it on this very desk numerous times, and we've had this discussion.
Yes.
The key here is it's people management. Mm-hmm. X's and O's are one thing, technical things are, but people management more than ever, especially given a pandemic, is of the utmost importance. And whether you're in a senior role, senior executive role, senior leadership role, coaching encompasses all of that. Mm-hmm. It's really important to be very tactful in terms of how you deal internally and externally with people, because when you're not, it can come back to bite you. And the Philadelphia Flyers have looked for a guy like Carter Hart for years. You've now found him. You have him. So, yes, if you want to have a discussion, you can put your arm around him lots and have that discussion internally and do it in a way that's empowering and do it in a way that's fair, right? And that's forthright. But now to do this externally, to me, there's zero upside that can come from this as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think it's less helpful than you would like. There's nothing wrong with a player his age not being up to his abilities at this stage.
Exactly.
Of course you want him to be, and people say bear down and this and that. It is a process. I don't like to speak about this because you know it 1,000 times better than me, but I did play with a bunch of goalies.
Yeah.
And it's a process like it is for a defenseman. It's even more so for a goalie.
Sure.
That's why you can start at 24 and 25 and have an amazing career.
Right.
I know players start earlier, but in general, I'd say most of the guys are hitting at that certainly 23, 24, 25 level. So it's not surprising. The team could play much better. He could play better. That's it. It
Okay.
can't be any more than that.
Well, here's my thing, too. If you look at this, and if I scour the league, and I look, let's say you go to Colorado, and I'm hearing Jared Bednar and the staff. We just did their game alongside Steven Nelson here for the showcase game this past weekend on the NHL Network. Thank you. And the thing that I'm saying is, when I speak to different people in that organization, every one of them speaks glowingly. They're speaking glowingly about their players. And you might add, hey, they're having a great season. But even in the event, uncharacteristically, that Cale Makar would struggle, it's still not handled the way we saw this handled. Or if Charlie McAvoy makes a bad pass or goes through a rough patch in Boston, it'll still be handled with a certain aplomb. So those are positional players, defense and forwards alike. But we're talking about a goalie here now. And this is why I always say the people part, and I've seen this my entire playing career in different stops, the people that did it exceptionally well, like a Paul Maurice, that's part of the reason why I was able to flourish under him, because he also managed the people, the person within you. And at the end of the day, if you're coaching behind the bench, doesn't matter who you are. You could be the great Scotty Bowman. You need the great Joel Quenneville, whoever. You need your horses in front of you. And I didn't think that that was the way to go about it today. I understand what AV's trying to convey, but this to me opens up a lot of needless questions about Carter Hart around his commitment to the game, his commitment to his teammates, to the franchise, to the position, which all of those, I can tell you, are 12 out of 10. Maybe the results is 7, 6, 5 out of 10 this year, given how poorly they played in front of him. But this invites needless character questions about him that, quite frankly, he doesn't deserve.